Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a brand new episode of The Back Pages. Of course, the series that we follow the back pages of those Monday morning newspapers. We try for a Sunday, but with Celtic playing the Europa League the next few weeks, looks as though it'll be a Monday exclusive. We're going to see what the headlines are saying, talk about what media is saying in terms of Scottish football, in terms of Celtic, Rangers and every other club in the SPFL, and give my opinions to the articles from those newspapers. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe, but let's get right into it after the intro. Right, we're going to start with the finished paper this morning, and if I could hold it up that would be great. We're going to start with the Times, the Glasgow Times, which has a beautiful photo there of Ryan Christie and Scott Brown. Neil Lennon looking a little bit more happy than he has over the past few weeks, made of stronger stuff. Lennon hails Celtic mental strength after reaching the final of the Scottish Cup. Of course, Celtic through to another final, the chance to win, 12 consecutive trophies, a quadruple treble on the cards, history to be made once more, taking on Hearts in the final on December the 20th, 5 days before Christmas. It's going to be a very intriguing game. And look, the team that was in crisis, the headlines last week, crisis time for Celtic, we're now going through to that to win what? Another treble. Is just incredible stuff. Hopefully this is the start of form which can take us back to the top of the table sometime. Of course, we're 9 points behind Rangers now with 2 games in hand. We can close that gap to 3. Still a long way to go, and of course it could go right down to the wire this year. The way Rangers are playing, they show no signs of slowing down. An impressive win against Kilmarnock at the weekend, but Neil Lennon has praised the mentality of his Celtic players after they won their first game in 5 to reach the Scottish Cup final. Lennon says he never doubted that his men would come good after 2 defeats and 2 draws in the last 4 games before the 2-0 win over Aberdeen at Hampden yesterday. The Celtic manager believes his team's performances have been better than the results have suggested, but he has challenged his men to improve further as he warned them against thinking they have turned a corner with the win over the Dons. Of course, this is something I touched on yesterday in the 3 things I've learned video. Let's not get carried away. Let's not get over our heads at the fact that we've still got a long way to go. One game doesn't mean everything's right and everything's bright and rosy. The fact of the matter is we need to keep this up. The way we played in the first half, especially yesterday, was one of our best performances, if not the best performance we've gave all season. And we need to continue that. We need to keep these levels up, both mentally and technically. You've seen players like Tom Rogic yesterday who were just unbelievably good, and if we can hit all those high notes, if we can play the way we have been on a consistent level in the last couple of games, I mean, you look how we played in the first 45 against Lille, you look at how we played in the first 45 against Aberdeen yesterday. If we can keep that up over the stretch of the next few games and get the job done early, get these early goals, I have no doubt in my mind we will get back up to the top of the table where we belong. So, of course, it's a very big positive getting through that cup final. We've still got a long way to go, and let's hope it is a corner that's been turned for Neil Lennon. Let's hope that it's the start of a wee bit of form now, which can really kickstart our season. A little bit too late for my liking, but you know, as soon as we get it done, the better. And I'm very happy at the end of the day that we've reached another cup final. The other piece on the back page touched on Steven Gerrard. My focus is on performance, not the table. Steven Gerrard insists he will pay no attention to the Premiership table despite seeing Rangers move 9 points clear of rivals Celtic, who have 2 games in hand in the title race. James Taverner's first half penalty was all Rangers needed to overcome Kilmarnock as they maintained their unbeaten start to the campaign. I've already said it, impressive start for Rangers. It's not going to be easy to catch up on them if they keep playing the way they are. It's all about grinding out these results. It's something Rangers couldn't do last season, and Gerrard has now managed to get that within the players. Before yesterday, I think it was 1 win in 8 games at Rugby Park, and whether it's done through a penalty or whether it's done through a 4-0 win, it's still 3 points, and come the end of the season, that's what matters most, the points tally. That is what's going to matter. I don't think it is going to come down to a case of goal difference. I'm sure there will be a points difference, but there we go. The Wizard of Oz casts a spell. What a headline. And he was the star man yesterday. Rogic runs the show as Christie and co get in on the Hampden Act. And do you know what? It's just delightful to see Tom Rogic come back and play the way he has been playing the last few games. What a victory it is in itself to keep him at the club. We were this close to letting him go for a fee, which was shocking as well. And now he's here to stay. And I couldn't be more happy. Look, second half was still a lot to be desired from it, but defensively, we done our job. Aberdeen didn't feel threatening at any time. Yes, they had their chances, but not once did I think, God, they're going to score here. Defensively, I think we were solid. As I said yesterday, even Shane Duffy put in an average enough performance, a good enough performance to see it through. Still a lot to be desired from him too, but I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to complain too much, because at the end of the day, we're in the final and that's what matters. Hibs deserve to win, says Gogic. Of course, Hearts knocking Hibs out, which means we play them in the final. And finally, the last piece, Zaliukas' tragedy to spur us on, Naismith. Of course, the tragic death of former Hearts captain Zaliukas at the age of 36, a shocker. It's a real shame. You see people that young bowing out. Horrible. But Brown, finally, actually, I'll touch on this. Brown delighted to answer the critics. Scott Brown says Celtic's first half masterclass against Aberdeen was their best performance in the last 18 months, as they stormed into the Scottish Cup final at a sodden Hampden Park. The Celtic captain was delighted to see his teammates answer their critics in fine style after 4 matches without a win, saying they showed their mental resilience to keep dreams of a 4th treble successfully alive. And obviously, that's what you want to hear. The captain yesterday with another great performance. He loves these games, he's big in these games, he is important. And as much as we have complained this season about him perhaps being dropped, you can't underestimate the importance of a captain like Scott Brown in these games. And it just goes to show you when we make it through to another cup final. Daily record today, that's the second one I'll go with. Daily record's always a fun one, of course. The fact that you can get your hotlines and your quotes of the day and all the rest of it is always a bit of fun. Front page fiction on Sean Connery. It's a shame, of course. Sean Connery, another guy who's left us in the past few days, a legend of the acting world, the original Bond, the best Bond. But the back pages, look at that, another brilliant photo of Scott Brown and Ryan Christie. Act of quad, 35th cup victory on a row, on the brink of a 12th successive domestic trophy. Lenny says this record-breaking run is unheard of. Neil Lennon says Celtic's Cup Incredibles are on the verge of completing an unheard of feat. The Parkhead manager was thrilled as his troops beat Aberdeen to reach next month's 2019-20 William Hill Scottish Cup final. Gerrard, eyes on the prize. Steven Gerrard is refusing even to look at the Premiership table despite seeing his team go top of the table by 9. But the Ibrox boss says his players answered every question thrown at them by holding on to a win at Kilmarnock thanks to James Tavernier's penalty. It's just what you're going to see in the back pages. Rangers beating Killie, us beating Aberdeen. The player ratings for Celtic, if you want to hear what the record is saying very quickly, I'll fly through them. Scott Bain 7, Frimpong 7, Duffy getting a 7. Beaton 7, Laxalt 7, Scott Brown 7, McGregor 7, Rogic only getting a 7, El Yunusi 7, Ryan Christie with an 8, and Odson Edouard with the lowest at a 6. Feels a bit harsh on Edouard. Of course, he didn't have the impact that we would normally expect, but we can't deny how vital it is to have Edouard back in that team. And he played a good role into that second goal. Lovely stuff. And as I said yesterday too, it's like watching the Celtic of 2018, 2017 era, when Brendan Rodgers had us playing some lovely, sublime football. And Edouard is vital to that. I don't think he should go underestimated. If he's not scoring, people still talk about his body language and all the rest of it. Look, get over it. The man's a hero. The man is the best in Scotland. Hotline. So, the quote of the day. It's astonishing Wall binned Gordon to accommodate Foster. Celtic gave a free to the best keeper in Scotland. Oh, better than Fraser Forster? I don't know. I've always been a big Craig Gordon fan, and I admit he's a top keeper, and right now we probably could be doing with him, but over Fraser Forster, I think that's a bit much. That's the quote of the day. Top hotline. Dave Cormack wasn't a fan of Sky Sports Celtic trailer. The Aberdeen chairman would have particularly liked what he was watching on Premier Sports yesterday either. Another win for Neil Lennon's side over their North East rivals saw the Hoops set up a quadruple treble clincher. Meanwhile, 23 miles down the road, Rangers saw off Kilmarnock to go 9 points clear of their Glasgow rivals. It was all happening in Scottish football this weekend, with Hearts making the Scottish Cup final off their win over Hibs. Aaron Hegarty from Glasgow said Celtic are playing a lot better now that they've got top players back from COVID and injury, just as Lennon said they would. But the improvement is also down to the manager being big enough and accepting he got the formation wrong and changing to a back 4. I certainly feel a lot more confident about the 10 now, and that is probably echoed through the whole of the Celtic support. I'm sure there is still doubters, and quite rightfully so. As I said, one game, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but I think there is a right for us to be more confident, because if we keep playing like that, there is no reason as to why we can't close this gap and can't get to the top of the table. The best 45 in 18 months, as Scott Brown said, and as we touched on, and we're obviously going for that quadruple treble. Rangers talking about their top of the table hopes, not focusing on what Celtic are doing, focusing on what they are doing. That is the key for Rangers to kick on this season, and I think it's the key with every team to kick on. One game at a time. look at yourselves. Celtic have never been bogged down by how Rangers are doing before. Last year when Rangers apparently won the league in December, Celtic kicked on, and what did we do post-January? We stormed the league, quite rightfully, winning the league title. But Rangers, if they keep it up, who will stop them next? Daily Record basically echoing everything the Times said. Let's move on to the last newspaper. Finally, the Daily Express today, which gives us the quote of history, boys. Another photo of Christian Brown. It's a gorgeous photo, isn't it? That's gone up on the wall, I'll tell you that for nothing. Lenny ready for unheard success, as we touched on in the last paper. And a piece with Stephen Naismith focused here. Naismith, we'll win the cup to honour Marius. Hearts captain Stephen Naismith has vowed to do everything in his power to hoist the Scottish Cup aloft in honour of Marius Zaliukas, of course, the Scottish Cup winning captain all those years ago. The Lithuanian defender tragically passed away at age 36 on Saturday after battling motor neuron disease just hours before Naismith led Hearts to the cup final at the expense of City rivals Hibs. It's not going to be an easy final. I don't think Hearts have been nothing spectacular this season, but a very entertaining extra time session between them and Hibs. McInnes, Dons now have to keep eyes on the league business. Of course, Aberdeen don't want to let this slip now, the form that they've been on, just because we've beaten them, but they've been great in the league campaign, and they'll stick to it despite losing to us yesterday, despite a kind of gutless performance at times. Look, Aberdeen started the game well in second half. They were a decent team too, but there was no fight there for me in terms of Aberdeen. But this is the best Aberdeen side I've seen in years, and that's why yesterday I probably had a bit more worry going into that game than I normally would against Aberdeen at Hampden. But yeah, they've got to keep that league form up, and I'm sure they will. Big time boys in with a shout, talking about Celtic. There's Shane Duffy there in exchange with Marley Watkins. And then just a little showcase of the Scottish Cup semi between Hearts and Hibs. Liam is too good to play in Serie B. Former Celtic and Hibs star Liam Henderson is being wasted in Italian football's second tier and should be a top club in the Serie A, according to top coach Vincenzo Sciganio. Midfielder Henderson has won praise being playing for Lecce in Serie B, his fourth club in Italy after his summer move from Hellas Verona after previous spells at Bari and Empoli. Liam Henderson is doing well for himself, someone who probably is in for a shout for Scotland call-up the way he's playing. But will he get in there? I don't think so anytime soon. That is the back pages. A quadruple treble is on the cards. Will we get it? We've still got a month to wait and see, or just over a month in fact. But it'll be very entertaining. Let's hope Celtic kick in the league. Will Rangers keep up their form in the next few weeks? I suspect they will. But aye, that about does it. If you've enjoyed, make sure to hit like and subscribe. And I'll see you all next time.